On the news tonight, Imo State to experience economic growth following the flag-off of Oguta dredging project by federal government.
The project will promote trade and investment and spur growth in multiple sectors, including shipping, manufacturing, agriculture, and also offer numerous opportunities for the people.
Fuel subsidy removal. Experts set agenda for building an economy that is less dependent on oil.
For every $1 billion Nigeria spends on fuel subsidy, it is $1 billion out of education, $1 billion out of healthcare.
Chief Justice of Nigeria attributes frustration in decongesting Nigerian corrections system to policy inconsistency.
From the information already in public domain, unnecessary prison congestions have severally led to incessant jailbreaks.
You're welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. Hingino John Adams joins us from Lagos. We're live in Abuja. You can follow these news broadcasts live on our website at nta.ng/live or any of our social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Now, Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibanjo has assured that the federal government will continue to support Imo State government to unlock the economic potentials of the state. He gave the assurance in Oguta while flagging off the dredging project of Oguta Lake up to the Atlantic Ocean. Kinsley Onaniu has the details.
Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo said the dredging of Oguta Lake to Orange River up to the Atlantic Ocean will enhance job creation as well as boost economic activities in Imo State. He noted that the project is a vital collaboration between Imo State government and Nigerian Navy, and therefore assured the continuous support of the federal government in assisting Imo State to unlock its economic potentials.
We aim to revive this once vibrant and economically strategic channel, furthering job creation and sustainable growth in Imo State and the entire Southeast region, and indeed our nation. By enhancing coastal connectivity and facilitating seamless transportation, the project will promote trade and investment and spur growth in multiple sectors, including shipping, manufacturing, agriculture, and also offer numerous opportunities for the people.
The Vice President also announced that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved Ohaji, Eboma, and Oguta oil and gas free trade zone, which he says will boost economic activities not only in Imo State but the entire Southeast zone. In Owerri, Kinsley Onaniu, NTA News.
To deepen bilateral relations, Nigeria and the United Kingdom have intensified dialogue of mutual concerns to measure up to various challenges facing the two countries. In a message by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, the meeting held in Abuja aimed to renew various bilateral agreements and include legal frameworks on vocational skill acquisition programs for Nigerians, address issues of medical tourism, visa and consular issues of migrants, among others.
We are going to advance over all the previous achievement. We're going to include in this MOU and in our relations vocational and skill acquisition. We're going to be very serious on the issue of a British hospital in Nigeria. We are working with the private sector.
Those who applied for visas to the UK do so on a proper and legal basis, because like you, we recognise the skill and the expertise that many Nigerian people bring to the UK, but we want them to do so legally and properly as your authorities do.
Participants were tasked on modalities in tackling crimes such as trafficking, irregular migration, and issues of visa policy, labor relations, among others.
To call on participants at this meeting to discuss like the cost of visa fees and the high rate of visa application rejection by UK. On our side, I want to inform that the revised Nigerian visa policy MPB 2020 is robust enough to make Nigeria an attractive investment destination for UK citizens.
Discussing the agreements, easy asset recovery, intelligence data sharing are other areas expected to be included to seal the bilateral agreement between Nigeria and the UK. Now, talking judicial matters, the Supreme Court has adjourned hearing in the suit filed by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to September 14th, 2023. The 5-man panel of justices of the Apex Court, led by Justice John Okoro, gave the order at the resumed hearing of the appeal of Nnamdi Kanu against the verdict of the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja. Kanu, through his counsel Mike Ozehome-San, on 3rd November 2022, filed an appeal at the Supreme Court against the Court of Appeal's verdict stopping his release from the DSS custody. Nnamdi Kanu, as appellant in this matter, is appealing the October 28, 2022 decision of the Appellate Court, which stayed the execution of his earlier order acquitting him of all charges and directing his release from the custody of the DSS. Mike Ozehome-San, before the adjournment, pleaded with the 5-man panel of justices of the Apex Court to order the release of Nnamdi Kanu from detention on compassionate ground due to the appellant's alleged ill health. Counsel to the correspondent in the matter opposed the prayer of the counsel to the appellate. With this development, Nnamdi Kanu's appeal is due for hearing again on 14th September 2023. Meanwhile, the Presidential Election Petition Court has adjourned to 18th May for further pre-hearing on the petition filed by Atiku Abubakar challenging the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Osin Ayabe reports that the adjournment was at the instance of counsel to parties in the petition.
The first petitioner, Atiku Abubakar, and the second PDP, represented by the acting national chairman, Ambassador Umar Domagun, were in court. Upon commencement of the proceeding, counsel to the petitioners, Chris Uche, senior advocate of Nigeria, sought the permission of the court to allow them between Thursday 11th and Tuesday 16th May sort out all relevant documents to be used during the proper hearing. He told the court that counsel to the parties in the petition have met and agreed that a joint team is constituted to sort out relevant documents to be tendered to pave way for seamless proceeding during the proper hearing of the petition. The window, they stressed, would also enable them to respond to all applications served on them, including one by the petitioner seeking the live coverage of the proceeding at the court. With no objections, Justice Haruna Simon Samani adjourned to 18th May 2023 for further pre-hearing of the petition.
We served the other parties the motion for the televising of the proceedings. They explained here that they are still in the process of filing their replies. Therefore, we could not proceed without their input.
The second petition mentioned Thursday is that filed by the Allied People's Movement against INEC, APC, Bola Tinubu, and Kashim Shettima. Proceeding followed that of Atiku as counsel to Allied People's Movement, or OBED, sought adjournment for pre-hearing of the petition to 18th May to enable counsel to the parties in the petition to sort out documents. Counsel to the respondents agree with him, saying a joint team has already been set up to look at all the documents to be tendered with a view to coming up with relevant ones that will reduce unnecessary objections during the proper hearing of the petition. The court agreed and thanked them for the cooperation so far, hence adjourned to 18th of May 2023 for further pre-hearing. From the Court of Appeal, Abuja, venue of the sitting, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariola, has blamed policy inconsistency for the failure of several attempts at decongesting the Nigerian correction system. He spoke at the Decongestion and Corrections Administration Conference underway in Abuja. Kelvin Ahone reports.
There are 75,507 inmates spread across the 240 correctional centers in Nigeria. Government data shows that 82 of these centers are overcrowded, with 81% awaiting trial inmates. This comes at a high cost to government, which budgeted 22.44 billion naira for feeding alone in the 2023 budget. With overstretched facilities and huge financial burden, the Chief Justice of Nigeria says there is no better time than now to muster political will to bring to fruition all the reforms being worked on for many years, a position adopted by the Minister of Interior, Ralph Arigbeshola.
From the information already in public domain, unnecessary prison congestions have severally led to incessant jailbreaks, and of course, the overstretching of the various dilapidated custodial facilities across the country.
We will not shy the states for accommodating their inmates, their convicts and suspects. We will not. Going forward with the new law, we will not share. They will pay appropriate fee for feeding.
The conference is being attended by civil society organizations and development partners to find a clearer path to the seamless decongestion of correction centers, especially how to develop a blueprint to help the state government set up their own correctional service as contained in the new law. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewenwaye, NTA News.
Health matters to address the gaps in achieving universal health coverage in Nigeria. Key players in the nation's health sector are drawing up modalities to accelerate the implementation of the NHIA Act to improve the health of Nigerians. Elizabeth Omori, who was at a health financing meeting, reports that the NHIA boss, Professor Nasir Sambo, made recommendations.
To ensure that there is equitable access to quality healthcare services across the board, especially amongst vulnerable groups, this meeting became imperative by actors in the health sector and the federal government. Professor Nasir Sambo hinted on the mandate of 3 implementation committees constituted for guidelines involving stakeholders' participation, noted that mandatory participation for all and provision of mechanisms to pay for those that cannot afford health services are requirements for universal health coverage.
The innovative financing is looking at all those things so that we have a consolidated document that will speak to all the necessary innovative financing mechanism that we require to mobilize the resources for the coverage of the vulnerable group.
Multiple taxation, a catastrophic health expenditure, and out-of-pocket payment were some of the issues raised.
First of all, health insurance is not mandatory.
If we focused on things like the BHCPF, you can achieve greater predictability.
They recommend domestic resource mobilization and social contributions to health services. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And to ensure a healthy and conducive environment, the federal government is evolving new strategies to meet the 2025 target of ending open defecation in Nigeria. And the latest initiative is the inauguration of the Youth Wash Program at the National Youth Service Corps camps nationwide. This is evident in a memorandum of understanding between the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, and his counterpart from the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, at the Kubwa NYSC Orientation Camp, Abuja. Olishe Adebo has details.
The morale at this orientation camp is to add up to the assignment of making them an army in correcting the worrisome state of the water, sanitation and hygiene wash sector in Nigeria.
Today's launch of the Youth Wash Program completes the initiation of the tripartite SHY wash programs, that is the school, health and youth wash programs, which are all geared towards accelerating access to sustainable wash services in the country.
Beyond what you do on camp, as you spread out into communities, local government areas, offices in the urban areas, you carry this message. Use the toilets. Wash Nigeria.
With the presence of core members in the 774 local government areas of Nigeria, their impact in this regard will be widespread.
For the Minister of Youth and Sports, the greatest agents of change to drive government's programs on ending open defecation are the Nigerian youths, describing core members as assets in the Clean Nigeria Use the Toilets campaign. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We'll be right back. Do stay. You're welcome back. The removal of fuel subsidy is a step Nigeria must take as the nation looks to build an economy that is less dependent on oil. At a policy session on Nigeria's post-oil economic future put together by the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace and Agora Policy, panelists set agenda for the incoming administration. Leah Katung Babatunde has the report.
Nigeria, like most African countries, is resource-rich, but experts have over time posited that these resources have not clearly translated to desired gains. The deadweight that accompanied oil revenue for decades is subsidies, and the consensus here is that it has to go.
For every $1 billion Nigeria spends on fuel subsidy, it is $1 billion out of education, $1 billion out of healthcare.
We are in a situation where in economics we call it tragedy of the commons, which is a situation where within a community everyone recognizes what's the right thing to do, what will benefit everyone. But if any one person tries to do the right thing and the others don't follow, then they're going to be worse off.
Panelists are of the view that policy direction must be frontally adhered to, with the sole aim of promoting viable economic performance that will reflect in the overall development index of the country driven by restructuring.
We have a political culture that has no regard for public service, that's driven by pursuit of personal interest, and most of the time, self-enrichment or enrichment of my state or my ethnic group is a toxic political culture that has developed.
If we don't tame the politics, if we don't produce what I call productive politics that has dominated over time, we are not going to be able to achieve both speed and sustainability.
We have a new government come May 29. The only way that government will perform is if we go back to those roots where merit is what determines how this government that comes in will be run.
Development, the sustainable variant, is not a naturally occurring phenomenon. It is created.
There are cases in which reforms have happened, federal agencies have been run properly, etc. So that cannot be the sum total of the explanation. That is another set of theories that we need to set aside.
The general take here is that the incoming administration must take deliberate steps to ensure the right policies coexist with the right drivers. In Abuja, Leah Katung today, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news. Mainstreaming women in digital technology has been described as a vibrant approach towards bridging gender inequality gap in the 21st century. This is the advocacy of Nigerian women at a conference to mark 1 year in office of the 15th president of the National Council for Women's Societies and her executives. Ngozi Technical reports.
Nigerian women are taking advantage of every opportunity to embrace digitization in order to fit into the demands of the 21st century. The 15th National Executives of the National Council for Women's Societies is building the capacity of our members to bring them at par with the reality of time.
Because the skills and abilities we are giving our children now, if we do not put AI, artificial intelligence and Internet of Things within it, in 20 years' time, whatever the length will be obsolete.
There was a COO of our land that we're looking for over 20 years. That in just 1 year, something that has been struggling for over 20 years, we've gotten it through the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs.
Recounting the achievements of the 15th NCWS, key players give their scorecard.
We have the numerical strength. The only way we can make a difference and get ourselves in various positions is to love one another, support one another, stand by one another.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tallinn, alongside other women, were honored for their remarkable contributions to women empowerment. In Abuja, Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
The Department of State Services, DSS, has unveiled its gender mainstreaming policy, outlining a homegrown comprehensive framework for the integration of gender perspectives and inclusiveness in the agency's policies, programs and procedures. A statement by the DSS describes it as a key component of the service commitment to promoting gender equality in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the National Gender Policy. Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Tallinn, who unveiled the policy, applauded the initiative and called on other agencies to emulate the service. Now, 39 years after its creation, stakeholders in Police Community Relations Committee have converged on Abuja to take stock of the benefits of the collaboration. This is with a view of charting a pathway in achieving maximum security in the country. Francis Form reports.
Community policing model emphasizes proactive rather than reactive policing. And here, the involvement of the community in crime fighting is key. The laudable initiative of establishing the Police Community Relations Committee by the Nigeria Police Force in 1984 has continued to yield the desired results. This is evidence in the partnership between the police and the various communities.
That their commitments and contributions towards tackling crimes and criminalities will not go unrewarded.
Stakeholders attest to the fact that the journey has been worthwhile.
We are always proud to be a friend of the Nigerian police, and we continue to improve on the relationship of members of the public and the Nigerian police.
The participation of the community incorporates local values and attitudes that would assist in crime prevention and reduction.
While commending the effectiveness of the community policing initiative in the country, the Nigeria Police Force applauded the PCRC members for their contribution and support.
The IGP encourages the PCRC to do more, to have what they are doing, because there is a remarkable improvement in what PCRC today for what it was in the past.
Some Nigerians who have contributed to sustaining PCRC were honored. Francis from NTA News.
And to enable Nigeria keep the important position and make way for him to complete his nationally beneficial tenure as an executive member of the International Police Organization, Interpol, President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed the retiring Assistant Inspector General of Police, Garba Baba Umar, as a senior security advisor on international police cooperation and counter-terrorism in the office of the Minister of Police Affairs. President Buhari also took note of the fact that during his tenure as a member of the Executive Committee, AIG Umar assisted Nigeria in many ways with the hope that in the remaining 1 year he will do more in securing equipment for crimes, border management and counter-terrorism for the country and help to get more Nigerians into important positions in the Interpol. AIG Umar's tenure at the Interpol ends in November 24th, and his new appointment as Senior Security Advisor takes effect from 16th of May 2023. Meanwhile, there is hope in sight for the members of the All Progressives Congress that are agitating for the review of the party's position ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, expected to be inaugurated in June. National Chairman of APC Abdullahi Adamu told some aspirants of the would-be 10th Senate that the earlier position on zoning was a mistake. Saliu Gwanara reports.
National Secretary of the All Progressive Congress has been playing host to aggrieved members of the party, particularly those aspiring for leadership position into the would-be 10th National Assembly. But the good news is that the National Chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, assured them that the party leadership, in conjunction with the President-elect, will take another decision in the interest of all party members.
Before then, less than 48 hours after a similar visit by their counterparts from the House of Representatives, senators aspiring for the President of the 10th Senate are also here with their demands ahead of inauguration.
We are doing this for the sake of this party to grow
and we are doing for the best interest of the parties. It will be better that the party goes back to drawing board and redraw and call us to a meeting for consultation and rezone, publish and everything, and not by name.
By population, definitely other groups can be more populated than us, but that does not stand to give or equate statistically that they have done better than we have done.
National Chairman of APC, Abdullahi Adamu, attributed the latest development to post-election challenges.
We are just gradually down to inauguration on the 29th of this month. No, that's not allowing us to divert our attention. Our eyes are still on the ball.
He appealed to party members, particularly members elect of the National Assembly, to allow the spirit of progressive politics reign supreme in their endeavor. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, remains a strong political party with capacity to settle its internal disputes. This dominated discussion at a reception organized by the PDP Governors Forum for newly elected governors on the party's platform. Timothy Yusuf reports.
This meeting is the first of its kind since the formation of the PDP Governors Forum. It is to send forth the outgoing governors and to welcome the incoming governors, 10 in number.
We are happy to bequeath to you, and indeed returning members of this forum, a forum that is strong, cohesive, and vocal in the defense of democracy and good governance in the country.
The party's 2023 presidential candidate and former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, agreed no less as he called for stock taking towards rebuilding the PDP.
We all know that we have not lost the last election, so we should remain determined and focused in retrieving our mandate.
Former Vice President of Nigeria, Namadi Sambo, chaired this occasion which called for repositioning and unity in the party towards returning to its winning ways.
What is happening in some states today already is very unfortunate. I will give an example of Kaduna State. In Kaduna State today, people are being suspended from the party left, right, and center without due process.
Even though we may have little challenges, but I want to assure you that the party has the capacity to be able to settle its internal problem.
Former Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Muda Yusuf, too taught the governors-elect especially in good governance at the sub-national levels. However, the G5 governors were absent in this get-together meeting. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Time to join Hingino in our Lagos studio for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Jumai. With the improvement recorded in Nigeria's maritime domain, collaborative efforts of all stakeholders in the sector to sustain the positive trajectory, especially the delisting of Nigeria from countries with volatile coastal domain, is very germane to harnessing the blue economy for growth. This and the need to review the maritime laws to ignite rapid development of the sector are issues emphasized by speakers at the third edition of Nigerian Admiralty Law Colloquium. Joel Pupola has the report.
While security operatives continue to ensure maximum protection of Nigeria's maritime domain, especially the Gulf of Guinea, key players and the judiciary are already thinking outside the box in tandem with the theme of this year's Admiralty Law Colloquium, which is looking beyond the threat possessed at seas to harnessing the gains of a secured maritime domain. Director General of NEMASA Bashir Jamu, who was represented at the event, and other speakers urged relevant agencies not to be complacent but intensify efforts to safeguard the Gulf of Guinea. Amendment of relevant laws, quick resolution of maritime disputes is paramount to enhance the economic prospects of the sector.
The maritime sector offers the best opportunity for Nigeria for enhancement of its foreign exchange earnings, its revenue base, but I'm saying that this time the focus should be on the impact on the GDP.
Our goal actually at this seminar is to build on the previous year's maritime safety and security legislative policy reform to now exploiting the natural resources within the Gulf of Guinea, having secured the maritime sector and the Gulf of Guinea.
For the representative of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, and other members of the bench, priority will be given to grey areas of the maritime laws to keep pace with the rest of the world and sustain recent momentum.
We continue the conversation on ways to counter threats and insecurity in this sector by upholding the effective administration of our criminal justice system. I believe that at the end, we will make significant progress.
The consensus at the colloquium is expected to reposition the nation's maritime sector and put it at a vantage position. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
To promote the participation of martial arts in the Nigeria Police Force Sports Program and self-protection combat, the Japanese government donated judo kits to the nation's police academy in Lagos. Lanre Gbile was at the donation ceremony and now reports.
Although martial art is primarily to de-escalate volatile situations through self-defense training mechanism, it has become one of the major international sports tournaments that Nigeria has won laurels in various competitions, with the police force providing athletes in them. One of such is judo, a Japanese martial art program. To encourage judokas in the Nigerian police, the Japanese government presented kits to the athletes to further aid development of the sport. The Japanese ambassador to Nigeria, Matsunaga Kazuyoshi, considers the donation as extending hands of fellowship to judokas for the improvement of the sports in the country. The ambassador, a judoka himself, goes ahead to demonstrate his skills.
So I also hope that this donation will contribute to the growth of judo practitioners in Nigeria and benefit many.
Representing the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, Commissioner of Police in charge of sports in the police force, Patrick Atayiro, described the donation as unprecedented in the police athletic pursuit.
I've also spoken with His Excellency, who they have also undertaken to source for mats, not only kids get mats for our judokas. So, and very soon we hope to elaborate on it, sending our judokas to Japan to get more knowledge about the game.
The police also used the occasion to appreciate the Japanese ambassador for his gesture. 24 judogis, a sportswear for the athletes, were presented to the police force judokas. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Time now for some messages, but before that, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
You're welcome back. The National Orientation Agency is taking its campaign against the vandalization of public assets to the grassroots as part of efforts by the agency to stem economic sabotage and promote ownership of public infrastructure among citizens. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
Critical infrastructure such as pipelines are being vandalized. Police stations, banks, schools and other public structures are oftentimes destroyed at the slightest provocation. Not even power installations, among others, are safe.
Destruction to these properties are also a form of self-harm. We are not promoting ourselves, we are not helping ourselves. If a community has just one bank and you go there and destroy it because you are angry, they don't have cash, you're the one who's going to suffer because you're living in that community.
Installations and facilities and other assets within their community is for their good, and they should own it by protecting it.
These stakeholders' engagement, therefore, emphasizes the need for citizens, especially at the grassroots, to own and protect infrastructure in their localities.
I made reference to ENSA destruction. The loss was colossal, and it will take a lot of time for all the governments to fully and properly replace what were lost.
The forum, having identified ignorance, poverty, unemployment, and several others as some reasons for the perpetuation of the ugly trend, agrees that all hands must be on deck to remedy the situation, recommending stiffer sanctions for perpetrators. Umenka Marchuku, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has joined the Afenifere Cultural Group, friends and family in celebrating with Pa Ruben Fasorati on his 97th birthday, admiring the courage, wisdom, resilience and visionary leadership that the nonagenarian continues to provide. President Buhari affirms that Pa Fasorati's personal profile conveys the remarkable history of Nigeria from independence, with his participation in shaping political and economic developments in the First, Second, Third and Fourth Republic, and fearlessly advocating democratic rule during military rule. The president notes the overwhelming influence of the Afenifere leader in the southwest and across the country, preserving the legacies of the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, after working side by side with him in building the Action Group and Unity Party of Nigeria and serving as Commissioner of Finance in Ondo State from 1979 to 1983. Meanwhile, President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu has applauded Nigerian nationalist and leader of Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere, Chief Ruben Fasorati, for clocking 97 today. In a statement by Tunde Rahman, Tinubu eulogized Pa Fasorati for his exemplary life of courage and public service as a teacher, school principal, local government chairman, administrator, commissioner for finance and astute politician. The president-elect recalled the various roles Pa Fasorati played in progressive politics in Nigeria and the Southwest in particular, from his student days at the University College, where he was an active member of Action Group alongside the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Premier of the Western Region, and Chief Adekunle Ajasin, first civilian governor of Old Ondo State. The president-elect particularly thanks Pa Fasorati for his support and encouragement during the presidential campaigns that produced him. Now, the FCT Emergency Management Agency has barricaded some roads as a temporary measure to mitigate the effects of floods that could occur with heavy rainfall in the Federal Capital Territory. Hakimat Aliu reports.
Holds a sad memory of a life lost to flood in the FCT, and as the rains intensify, the closure, amongst other precautionary measures taken by the FCT Emergency Management Agency, is to forestall any of such occurrence or any loss of lives and property to flood in the FCT.
As the heavy-duty trucks arrived to barricade the slip road from Games Village around the Galadima interchange, residents who recall the ugly incidents in 2019 described the development as a step in the right direction.
This is the time, normal time, that they should block this road.
The Director for Casting Response Mitigation of FEMA, Florence Wenegeme, says the closure is done yearly since 2019 on the directive of the FCT authorities, while permanent solution to correct the situation is being worked out as the road construction is ongoing.
If you get to the end of the interchange here, you see that we have some hardcore that are already there. That's to show you that FCT administration is already on top of the situation.
This road, the authorities maintained, will remain closed until the rainy season is over. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
A canoe ferrying passengers has capsized, claiming the lives of 15 people in Dundeje village of Shagari local government area of Sokoto State. The affected communities are now calling for support from the state and federal government to forestall reoccurrence of the incident. Aliu Mohammed Kawai reports.
The 15 victims of the canoe mishap lost their lives in the early hours of Tuesday. Some of the survivors, Safiya Ali and Ralia Abubakar, said 8 of them were rescued out of the 23 people loaded on board, while 15 people died, in which 13 were females and 2 were males. The driver of the canoe, Jaja Danfulani, attributed the incident to tidal waves, which made it difficult
to control the killing. The district head of Lambara, Hassan Muhammad Lambara, and village head of Dundeje, Umar Farouk Dangaladima, described the incident as unfortunate, calling on Sokoto state and federal governments to provide flying boats and life jackets to Dundeje and Ilele Dabore communities. The zonal head of National Emergency Management Agency, Aminu Shaya Ambrusa, was at the village and assured of assistance to the affected communities. Meanwhile, the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has paid a sympathy visit to the area. He pledged to provide them with boats. In Sokoto, Ali Muhammad Kawai, NTA News.
We'll take a break. More when we return. Sport update is next with Chukwunoso Nwabueze.
Plateau United has been docked 3 points and 3 goals for physical assault on match officials by fans during their matchday 17 tie against Remo Stars at the New Jos Township Stadium last week. The interim management committee in a statement also ordered the club to pay 2.5 million naira as sanctions for other breaches arising from the incident, while the stadium is closed indefinitely to Plateau United fans until adequate security measures are put in place. In another development, the IMC has rescheduled all Nigeria Premier Football League Matchday 18 features. The games earlier slated for this weekend will now hold on Sunday, May the 21st. With this, the final day matches in Group A and B will now be staged on the same day. The Interim Management Committee, in a letter to the MPFL clubs, noted that the Federation Cup games have also impacted the commencement of the Super 6 dates. In the meantime, North Central Zone has emerged champion of the just concluded 2023 National Amputee Football Zonal Championship in Lagos. Kehinde Lamide reports that this followed a 4-3 on penalties victory over Southwest in the final decided at the Legacy pitch of the National Stadium, Lagos.
Amputee is seen as a Lagos thing, but with the crop of players that come from all around the federation, we have been impressed, and I think with this, the world will be out for us.
In tennis, top seed Uche Oparoji Thursday in Abuja advanced to the semi-finals of the 2023 VEMP National Open Tennis Championship with an emphatic 6-1, 6-1 win over Thomas Otu in the quarterfinal. Philip Abayomi also progressed to the last four with a 6-4, 2-6, 6-3 victory against Henry Aseye. In the ladies category, number 1 seed Marylove Edwards zoomed into the semi-finals after a comfortable 6-1, 6-love win against Kajidat Mohammed.
I'm very encouraged. You see a lot of the younger players are taking over from the more elderly players. So this is what we want to happen, and this is the way it should be.
With sports updates, I am Chukwunoso Nwabueze, NTA News.
Let's have a quick check on the weather prospect for Abuja, Nigeria, and the rest of the world.
Thanks for joining us. This satellite picture depicts active weather systems over the eastern flank of the country, where we observe some thunderstorms and rains on Thursday night. And as we move into Friday, some of these rain clouds are expected to move westwards to give some early morning thunderstorms and rains to parts of Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, some parts of southern Borno, Taraba, and Benue State. Other areas within the country remains mostly cloudy with some sunny spells over the north. But by afternoon and evening hours, we expect an increase in thunderstorms and rains, reaching up to the northern part of Yobe, Kaduna, some parts of Adamawa, Taraba, down to Kebbi, and also some parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, Benue, and Nasarawa. The southern half of the country should also watch out for more thunderstorms and rains as well to affect the inland cities of the south down to the coastal cities. For more updates, please download the NIMET app on iOS and Play Store. I remain Joyce Ogunleye, and I'll see you again.
And that does it on NTA Network News tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Jummai Yusuf.